everyone, this is Tamara from shelfaddiction.com and welcome to episode 137. Tonight on Book Chat, I am interviewing author Elle James, a New York Times and USA Today bestselling author who also writes as Mila Jackson. She is a former IT professional and a retired Army and Air Force reservist. With over 120 books under her belt, she writes romantic suspense, mysteries, and paranormal romance. I'll be chatting with Elle about her Hearts and Heroes series, Coastal Magic Convention, and more. Coastal Magic Convention is located in Daytona Beach, Florida in February 2018. Tickets are still available, but quantities are limited, so grab yours now. For those of you that want to know more, I have a link below in the show notes, or you can go to coastalmagicconvention.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and share it. Show your support by rating the podcast and leaving a positive review on Apple Podcasts, aka iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The podcast can also be found on the Spreaker app, the only place where you can get broadcast notifications so you never miss a live episode. If you'd like to email in feedback or questions, feel free to reach out to me at info@shelfaddiction.com or call in and leave an internet voice message via SpeakPipe. The link is below in the show notes. Hey, Elle, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Are you in Michigan as well, or where are you at? You're not in Michigan. Where are you located?
I'm in the northwest corner of Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas. Okay, so we're in the same time zone, though, or not really?
Central.
Oh, okay. So you're an hour behind me.
Right.
Fun stuff. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat today. I know you are very busy writing.
Yes, absolutely. Trying to pound out words, and you know how it goes. It's hard to do it when you're under pressure.
Oh, I know, right? So I will keep this short and sweet so you can get back to it. So you ready to jump right in?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So, you know, writers usually read as much as readers do. So go ahead and share what you're reading right now, if anything.
Right now, I'm reading a book by Susan Stoker. It's called Protecting Dakota. And she's quite a good writer, a good friend of mine too. But it's the beginning of a series, and that 12 different authors are writing in, one of which I'm writing one of them. Sorry, now I'm losing my voice.
Oh, no. Do you have any favorite authors or authors that you feel have influenced your style of writing?
Oh, I'd like to say that authors have influenced my style of writing, but I don't think they have.
No? Okay.
I do have favorites. I'm a big proponent of audiobooks. I like to listen while I'm driving, and I do quite a few long distance road trips. And so I listen to a lot of Tammy Hogue. And
I know her. Yeah, I know her books rather.
Yes, I love them. I try to get something that will keep me awake because I'm notorious for falling asleep at the wheel. So if I find a really good, action-packed book that will keep me awake, I'm good to go. But then I forget to stop for gas.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Yeah, it is.
I love audiobooks too. What other audiobook authors do you like to hear on audio?
I like James Patterson. Have you read any of, or listened to any of Odd Thomas? I enjoyed that. It's kind of a YA kind of book, but, and it's paranormal. I haven't had a chance to read much lately, but I've also listened to, it was a seal story, because I write a lot about seals. So I listened to a book by a man who had written about his buds training. So that was very interesting and helped me with my research that I needed for my seals.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. So, you are a well-established author with over 120 books. So what inspired you to start writing as a career?
Okay. I was in the IT field. I don't know if you're familiar with being in IT at the turn of the century. It was called Y2K, the turn of year 2000.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was babysitting computers through the middle of the night because we were afraid everything was going to crash. The world was going to come to an end in the computer world. And my sister and I were both babysitting computers that night. And we looked at each other and said, we don't want to do this the rest of our lives. And we were big romance readers. So we decided to jump in and try writing a book on our own.
Awesome.
And we ended up writing the first chapter each and looking at each other and saying, now what? So we went into the process of learning and co-authored 5 books and then split out and did our own thing.
That's very cool. And I do remember that whole incident and nothing happened. And we were all like, nothing happened.
Right. I know.
Yeah. All right, so we're here to talk about Hearts and Heroes today. That is your series that is suspense romance, and it's a military romance as well, right?
Right. My characters are brothers. They're all in different branches of the military, but they're all brothers, and they're all, the military hero kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And the fun about this series is that I'm using places that I've been. I do a lot of traveling. Just got back from Peru. And but some of the events that take place in these books are based off of my travels, which was a lot of fun because I lived in San Antonio for a while. The first book's based in San Antonio. The second book is based in Ireland. And I went to Ireland, and a lot of the places that I went in Ireland show up in that book. And I just finished writing Ronan's Return, which is the third book, and it comes out October 24th. And that book is based in Venice, Italy, which is one of my favorite cities in the whole world.
I love Italy. It's amazing.
I love everything about Italy, especially the wine.
Mm-hmm. You know what? When I first went to Italy, someone told me never order special wine. Always have the house wine. It's always good. And they're right.
They were right.
Just drink it.
Exactly. And that's the best thing. You just local wine.
Yep.
Local wine. I learned that my last trip, not my first trip to Italy, but my last trip to Italy. We spent some time in Cinque Terre, which is like the Italian Riviera. It's along the coast, and it's all up against the hills. It's beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, I drank a lot of local wine there. It was really nice.
Oh, yes. I finally know all about Italy. I actually am excited to go back again sometime soon. So that's your third book, right? That's in Italy. And so they're brothers. How many more books? How many brothers are there?
There's 4.
Okay.
The last one will be based out of the Greek island of Santorini. And I picked that. I haven't been there yet, but I am going next year, though I will be writing that book before I go. But the island's just so picturesque. It has to be in a book.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, because as a person who loves to travel, I find it very exciting when I can read books and I actually feel like I've been, sent somewhere in the real world and it feels like I'm there. That's awesome.
Well, I'd love to do that. I wrote a series of books for Harlequin based in Alaska before I'd ever even gone to Alaska. But then I went to Alaska and I was, it's pretty close. Mm-hmm. I did good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit. We know it's based on brothers, but give me like a overall, kind of spoiler free, idea of what these brothers kind of go through. What are we going to be reading about?
Well, all my guys in this series is they're military heroes. So they're strong, they're alpha, but they're up against women that are just as strong. Maybe not alpha, but they're just as strong. But they need some protection. But they would definitely say, I can protect myself, leave me out of this. But they end up falling in love. I mean, that's why we write romance. We want that happy ending.
You mentioned that the heroines are strong women that can take care of themselves. They just need a little help.
Right.
Personally, I love a strong heroine. Anyone that reads Shelf Addiction blog or listens to me on a podcast, they know I love strong women in books. But I also love when a man and a woman can be just as strong and stronger together. So it sounds like that's the formula you're going with here.
Right. Well, when the guys that are in my stories, these 4 stories, they're special ops guys. And special ops guys have the issue of they have to go whenever they have to go. So they need strong women in their lives because they have to have somebody who can stand up on their own while they're gone. Mm-hmm. And so that's why my gals they're strong. In Ronan's Return, my character there, she may be a multimillionaire's daughter, but she chose to take a path that led her to Syria to help the women that are being abused and raped there. So I don't know if you saw there was a news article about a woman, I can't remember where she was from, Netherlands or something like that she had gone to the Middle East to help fight. And I kind of based my character off of her because I thought she was pretty badass.
That's awesome, actually. I love that. I hadn't heard about that, but that's really cool.
Yeah. So she's come back because now she's got a price on her head. The ISIS folks are after her. So he helps her survive the streets and canals of Venice.
Since this is a romance, obviously, and this is an adult series, right?
Right.
Can you give me your opinion on what the heat level is? I always ask when it comes to romance, my listeners, they want to know before they jump into it what they're getting. Kind of like scale of 1 to 10, like in your opinion, because it's always kind of subjective, but what do you think your heat level is?
Probably about a 5. I write for Harlequin and Harlequin Intrigue, and I tend to kind of follow their lead. It might be sometimes a little more graphic than Harlequin Intrigue would allow, but not much, because and not too many sex scenes because, again, Harlequin usually hold me back.
I guess they know what their audience likes. So I don't mind a little spice, but I also sometimes like when it is held back a little bit because then you really can see the development of the relationship between the couple. So do you think that there's any like insta love or insta lust, or is there kind of like a real like slow burn of the relationships in your books?
I think it's both. I think that you can have insta lust. I mean, especially if you're in a really tight situation where you're relying on each other to survive. I think that can happen really quickly. But I also write under another pen name, my Mila Jackson, and that's where I put all my really steamy, hot menage sexy stuff.
Ooh, that is spicy. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about the brothers a little bit. You mentioned that they're alpha, but like how alpha are they? So obviously we know it's not like full scale Christian Grey alpha because this is a rated of 5. So
right. There's no BDSM in my books, in my Elle James books anyway. There might be a little touch of it in Mila books, but they're just tough guys. I mean, they're going to get in there, kick butt, take names, and make things happen. That's I have a military background, and so I've been around a lot of guys that are like that, and it's just fun to portray them. But they're also they can be big teddy bears when it comes down to falling in love with their women.
Because they're all brothers and they're the connective tissue of all the books. Are they still sort of individual stories where someone could just pick up your newest book that comes out next week? Or?
They are very individual. I didn't do a connecting story between all 4 of them, so they can be picked up and read individually.
Are there any audio book versions available? Since I'm an advocate of audiobooks, so I always got to know. Yeah,
not yet of these. I'm playing catch up right now. I'm just going through my Brotherhood Protector series, getting the audio done with those, and then I'll work into my Hearts and Heroes.
Well, I always also like to find out, who is your favorite character that you developed, and why are they your favorite character of this series, rather?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. The last one I wrote, I guess. I mean, Ronan's pretty hot. Actually, I like one of my other characters in Max Witness is the one based in Ireland. I have a secondary character that cracks me up because I met her. She's a real person, based off of a real person, but she ran a bed and breakfast in a castle. She was pretty funny. But yeah, my favorite, probably Ronan.
Is it because he's super hot, or?
Yeah, because he's come back to look for a female or woman that he met 2 years ago. That he's going to the trouble of finding her because he can't get her out of his head.
That's a problem
Yes,
for him.
It is a problem for him. He's going to meet her and he's going to prove to himself that it was just all in his head.
Oh, wow.
But
that's cool. Well, I like what I'm hearing. Is there anything else that you like to share about this series in particular? So people will run out and pick up your book, your newest published book that comes out on the 24th. Is that what you said?
Yes. Get ready to delve into the setting, because the setting, I'm having so much fun writing the settings because I've been there, and the characters just kind of fall into place in those settings and make the setting come alive. So all these books will be unique in their settings, and the characters themselves. I write edge of the seat, not seat of your pants. Edge of the seat. I get the right suspense. So you'll jump in and expect to go for a wild ride.
Oh, that's fun. So I got to know, are you a plotter or a pantser? How do you write?
I used to be a plotter.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have time right now for that, so I'm just pantsing it.
Yeah.
I used to teach a whole plotting boot camp based on plotting. Yeah, but a lot of the things that I taught in there, I internalize. So I'm building those things in my head, if not on paper.
Well, I know you're trying to blast through some books, so I guess I could see why you don't really have time to plot everything out. You're just going.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do some preliminary work, but I not as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're a pro. I mean, after publishing 120 books, you've got it down. You know what you're doing.
Oh, you say that, but I look at people that are just starting out and they're fresh. Mm-hmm. So it's a little harder the farther you get into it to be fresh. You're getting tired and you have to pull stories out now. So, but finding those new settings, finding those quirky characters, it makes it all new.
Yeah. Well, speaking of new writers, there are always, writers in the audience or people that are looking to be published or hoping to write their first book. Do you have any advice for aspiring writers?
You have to commit. A lot of people, they'll say, "Oh, I want to write a book," but you have to commit. If you want to make it happen, you have to commit. And if you're not ready to, then maybe it's not where you want to be. But yeah, you have to commit. Button chairs, hands on keys. Get that writing done. It's work.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And you know what? And honestly, for the other side of things, if you're not ready to write, sometimes it's okay to realize you're just a reader.
And that's quite all right. You may not be at a point in your life that you can do that.
Yep.
I was 40 years old before I started. And that's because I wasn't at a point in my life I could commit to it.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice. No sense in going halfway. Do it
right.
All in.
All in.
Awesome. So Coastal Magic Convention is this upcoming February, and that is the event that has brought us together today. So let's talk about that for just a minute. Because you have so many books, I've got to ask, what books do you plan on bringing to be signed? I know you're not bringing all of them.
I won't bring Harlequin books because it's just too hard to order those at the right time. So no, it'll be all my indie published books. So I'll be bringing my Brotherhood Protector series, my Hearts and Heroes series, my Hellfire series, my Navy SEAL series called Take No Prisoners. Mm-hmm. And I also have some romantic comedies that I love to bring. It's an area that I would like to write more of, but I just can't sell it like I can my romantic suspense. So, but I have a voodoo series that I adore. I'll bring that, and I have a Texas Billionaires Club comedy series that I'll bring as well.
Mm-hmm. So you're paranormal. I'm curious about that because I am a huge paranormal romance reader, big time. So, what is your paranormal series about? You mentioned voodoo. Is it about witches?
Voodoo. Actually, it's about voodoo.
Voodoo. Okay.
It is funny. Spells going wrong, that kind of stuff. But it's got some romantic suspense in it too. But it's definitely funny. It's laugh out loud kind of funny, which I enjoy a lot of.
Oh, that's so fun when that happens. I mean, I can literally count on two hands. And I've read a lot of books. I'm not going to lie. But, I can count on two hands the amount of books where I literally just burst out laughing out loud. And I love when it happens. It's just a pleasure when it happens.
I love it too. Janet Ivanovich, Jennifer Cruzy, both have made me laugh. And I really enjoyed writing my voodoo books because I laughed writing them. And people that enjoy a good laugh, enjoy the books. But humor is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So is this your first year at Coastal Magic or were you here previously?
It's my first year. I'm excited about it.
Oh, yes. Daytona Beach. Have you been to Daytona Beach?
I have not.
It's so fun and cozy.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope we don't have any hurricanes.
Oh, I know, right? Like seriously, after all of the weather and hurricanes they had going on, I looked to make sure the hotel was okay. I'm like, oh shoot, it's safe.
I know, it's scary.
Yeah, it is. But it's definitely a really fun, like, quaint area. So what do you think you're looking forward to most about Coastal Magic?
I love meeting the readers, especially, I like meeting both the readers that have read me and the readers who haven't, because they'll come up and say, well, I haven't read anything of yours. What would you suggest? And then because I have such a variety, it's fun to match the book to the person. Yeah,
that is the fun part, especially because you can do that. I could have a whole nother conversation about with you about genre jumping, because you've written so many different genres. I think that's highly unique to find an author that can cross so many different genres. That's really cool that you can do that.
It keeps you fresh.
Yeah, definitely. So, are there any other events that you'll be at where readers can find you leading into Coastal Magic, since that's some months away still?
I'm headed to West Virginia for the Rebels and Readers event at Huntington, West Virginia, November 4th.
Okay.
And other than that, I think then Coastal Magic's in February, and that's the next one.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, you guys, you can find all of Elle's social media links below in the show notes. You can find buy links for her books on Amazon, and you know where to find her if you want to reach out. So let's do the lightning round. You ready for the lightning round, Elle?
Go for it.
All right. So let me set my little timer so that I don't go over, because I will, and I'll be asking like 100 questions, and you'll be like, are you done yet?
Are you done yet?
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's will be fun.
All right. You ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. Physical books or ebooks?
E.
Hero or villain?
Ooh, villain.
Tea or coffee?
Neither.
Name a book that you've read in one sitting.
I'm a slow reader. I can't.
Okay. Beer or wine?
Oh, wine.
Milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Vampires or werewolves?
Werewolf.
Where's your favorite place to read?
In bed.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
What's your favorite book when you were a child?
The Little House on the Prairie series.
Android or Apple?
I'm sorry, what was the first part?
Android or Apple?
Oh, Apple.
Name your favorite food.
Spaghetti.
And we are done.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, 60 seconds goes fast when you put a timer on it.
It does. It does. It was funny when you said the apple one. I was thinking, did you say orange and apple? I was going to.
Oh, no. I always ask that because, people are like, I'm team Android. I'm team Apple. You know how people really get into it about their phones. So.
Yeah. And in the vampire versus the werewolf, I'm team, what was this? Taylor Lautner.
Jacob. Team Jacob.
Yeah. Team Jacob. Definitely.
I was not team Jacob. I was team Edward, but that's only because Jacob was just so sorry at some points. But, Edward was sorry, too. He was a little creep at times, too. So they were both kind of bad, but whatever.
Yeah.
Don't get me going on that Twilight thing.
I know. Seriously. I just thought he was hotter.
Oh, you know what, though? He was. On screen, he was.
Oh, yeah.
I think Edward was hotter in the books, and they messed up with the casting. But, Don't get me going.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Elle, for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again for taking the time.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks for downloading, streaming, all that fun stuff. And we will see you next time. And don't forget to check out Elle below. All her links are there. Happy reading, guys.
Take care.
Thank you for tuning in and downloading today's episode. If you are enjoying the book chat episodes and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. First, you can head on over to iTunes and give a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. You can follow the Shelf Addiction podcast on Spreaker, the only place where you can listen live and get broadcast notifications so that you never miss a live episode. Most importantly, you can share the podcast with friends and family that love books and audiobooks. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.